Sometimes you sit there and it's always in a moment of silence, in a moment of quiet, where there's no distractions. You're not really watching anything, you're not listening to anything, you're not looking at anything, you're just thinking to yourself, where this realization comes to you. I've had this realization only a couple times in my life, whenever I sit down for a moment and actually think for myself and let my brain actually think, where I don't have any big things to think about, and I'm actually just thinking about where I am in the process, where I am in my journey, on my journey, what stage am I at, what am I doing, and it's obviously, it gets clear, it clears the brain fog whenever you do this. And it makes you realize how much of a different person you actually are. And this is only something that applies to the people that actually go on a journey of changing themselves and improving themselves and upgrading themselves on a very core fundamental basis. I can speak from experience on this, and I know how much I've changed, because I don't even remember who I used to be. And I talk to some people in my life, may it be my parents, may it be my friends, may it be my colleagues, work, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Comrades, friends, Romans countrymen, doesn't really matter who it is. But the people who I used to know from before, and I look at these people and I think about who I used to be. And another thing would be looking at the past videos and past pictures of myself that I've recorded and really thinking to myself, damn, I've changed so much. And you know how people tell you, like, hey, the best sign that you're making progress in life is if you look back at yourself, if you have like recorded videos or pictures of yourself and you cringe a little bit and you're like, this guy's cringy. That's actually healthy. That's actually a good sign that you're actually making good progress. And this is what's happened to me, like every single time I go back and I scroll back through all of my pictures from 4 or 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago. I look at myself and I'm like, this guy's actually really fucking stupid. Like, this guy actually thinks he's the guy and he isn't, which is funny as shit. But sometimes you just sit there and you think to yourself, like, wow. And I don't really do this nearly enough. You just sit there and you think to yourself, what kind of a person you used to be and what are the things you used to do compared to today. And it's actually quite astonishing when you've taken so much action over the past few years that you don't actually recognize your old self anymore. This is extremely important, because if you don't feel this way, you, chances are not making a lot of progress. You're just staying in your comfort zone. You're just doing the same old thing over and over. Not really looking for any progress. Just staying the course. And I don't think us humans were made to stay the course necessarily. I think we were made to progress and invent things and create things and build a life for ourselves that we actually have, enjoy, that we actually desire, that we actually want, that we actually feel like, I've achieved what I set out to achieve. Perfect. Time to find something else to achieve. And I guess the biggest limiting factor, the biggest thing that limits people's growth as individuals comes from themselves. It comes from the comfort zone, the friends you have, the habits you do, the places you go to, things you feel comfortable doing because you've done them so much that you're just on autopilot now. And you feel like if you don't do them, something's gonna go wrong. Like going to work, going to the same place over and over again, talking to the same people about the same subjects, playing the same video games over and over, doing the same exact thing. The biggest limiting factor humans have doesn't reside in their circumstances. It resides in the fact that most of us seek familiarity. Familiarity is something all humans want. And I was listening to a couple of things of Carl Jung last night, and I came to a pretty interesting revelation, which was most people actually wear a mask and don't actually show you who they truly are. And it is by wearing this mask that they force themselves to stick within the realms and the boundaries that the mask sets for itself. And this is why people go back to familiarity. This is why women go back to toxic relationships. This is why men go back to drinking. This is why some people go back and take drugs that they haven't taken in a very long time. They go back and they take it. They indulge. Because it feels familiar. It's like, for me, I spent dozens of years, like I'd say probably 3/4 of my life, playing video games all day, every day. And once in a while, I might boot up a video game just to see what it feels like, just to play a little bit. But I don't spend my day on it anymore, because I have more important things to do. I've changed. But I understand the pull of familiarity, of what it has, what it does. And that might be different places. Maybe you want to visit you used to go visit the zoo with your parents when you were a child. Maybe you used to visit the aquarium. Maybe you used to go outside to the park and take a walk. Maybe it was going back to that old house that you used to own and just looking at it from afar. Maybe it was taking a walk down to the beach. Maybe it was that toxic relationship you had where you felt like the familiarity of the toxicity is something that you could cling to because it feels like something you're used to and it feels comfortable. This is why some people really, really have a hard time changing, because they're clinging to familiarity. And so what ends up happening is most people do irrational things in order to seek comfort within familiarity. This is an interesting concept because as soon as you become conscious of this, you can then take actions that completely change this familiarity. Like, for instance, for me, I've completely switched out all of my past habits and created new ones. Like, for instance, now in the morning, I wake up, I take a shower. And if I don't take a shower right then and there after I wake up, I feel like there's something wrong. I haven't started the day perfectly. Like, that's the comfort I feel, the familiarity. If I don't take a shower first thing in the morning, I feel like, I'm making a mistake here. And this is the same thing going forward throughout the day. In the morning, I go to a coffee shop in order to work on my laptop. And if I don't go there, I feel like, dang, am I missing out on something? Should I go back? Should I go there? Should I go there now? What am I doing? This is the feeling in the back of your head every single time you do something that is not comfortable, or that doesn't feel familiar, or that doesn't feel like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Like, for instance, when I go meet a client in person, and I've never met them before, first time ever, and I booked the meeting, etc., etc., it doesn't really matter. And I go there and I meet this person, and it feels uncomfortable because I'm not used to doing that, because I haven't done it enough. But I've done it enough times to feel like, I know the procedure, I know how it's going to go, but maybe I don't know where I'm going into. I don't know the environment, so the environment makes me a little bit stressed, just a tiny bit. That's what I'm talking about. If you feel stressed because you're changing something significant in your daily life, may it be an environment you go to, may it be your work, you're finding a new job, may it be creating your own business, not really sure what you're doing, you're going to have to learn a lot of stuff. Maybe it's a new relationship, maybe you're going out on a date with a new woman, maybe it's something completely different. Maybe you're going to a funeral. Maybe you're going to a place you've never been before. Maybe you're going to a dangerous part of town. Maybe you're going to a rich part of town. And all of these different things, if any of these things make you stressed, just a tiny bit, or even a substantial amount, then in that case, you need to understand that you're on the right path. Because by always facing down everything that makes you stressed, it makes you care more about it. Being stressed, being anxious, feeling anxious about something isn't a negative thing. It's actually your lizard brain thinking, there's either a danger or an opportunity, so we need to pay attention. Because you care about it. You care about it. This is what happens in the brains of most men. When they see a beautiful woman, the chemicals fire in their brain, and they get a release of adrenaline, and it's like, okay, we've got an opportunity here. Either we go up to her and we talk, or we run away, or we freeze. This is usually the three answers to the problem by default. You get to pick and choose if you know what you're doing. If you're conscious of making choices, then in that case, you'll be able to do what you want. And you'll understand that stressing out and anxiety and all of these different feelings are just indications, are just information for you to use. Feelings are information. They are a return on the analysis that your body has done, either on yourself, on your environment around you, thanks to the senses that you have. May it be seeing things, smelling things, hearing things, touching things, doesn't really matter. The point being, if you feel stressed about something, it means you care about that thing in the very direct moment, like right now, you care about it. So, in that case, what I recommend is thinking through it logically and rationally. I'm feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way? Okay. Analyze all the variables. Once you've done that, think to yourself, is this something I actually should take action on or not? What's the worst thing that can happen? What's the best thing that can happen? do I actually want to go through with this? And then take action or refrain. It's your choice at the end of the day. Like, for instance, the best example I can give you is go outside, see a beautiful woman on the street, and you're gonna feel this jump of adrenaline or this little boost or like little shot or whatever. And you get to decide right then and there, are you gonna go after her and say hi? Or are you gonna just stick to what's comfortable? Stick to the course. This happens to me quite often, but I know my standards. And if the woman is, okay, she might be pretty, but then I actually take a deeper look at her. I look at her behaviors. I look at if she has any tattoos, if she has a revealing outfit where I can see a lot of skin, if she has a lot of red flags that I see and I'm like, would I want this woman to be my daughter? Or would I want my daughter to behave like this? Or would I want my wife to behave like this? Would I want the mother of my children to behave like this? And if the answer is no, then in that case, I know already what kind of a woman she is and I know how to treat her. I might treat her like a side chick instead of a serious woman. It really depends. The point being, when you know what you want and you are conscious enough to have those standards and to have the self-respect to enact, to decide for yourself and to take action upon the world based on what you want, then in that case, you can't really have any that bad outcomes happen to you. For the most part, every single woman I've gone on a date with, I've seen potential as, okay, I can get experience from this woman because I don't have that many experience. This is what I thought about at the very start. Oh, I don't have any experience, so I should figure it out with somebody. And so I aimed for the most beautiful women I could find. And I didn't really care at the time. I didn't really look at the red flags at the very start because I needed the experience. And the more I went through this process, the more experience I gained. And the more I felt like, now that I have experience, I understand a little bit about how it works and what I want. I've defined the standards. I don't really care about being alone anymore. I don't really care about not having a partner anymore because I'm fine the way I am. I'm building something that matters for me. I'm seeking and I'm pursuing my goals. And if a woman wants to help or support or hop on the train with me, then in that case, fine. I'll help her out and I'll make some room for her. But if she doesn't want to do that, then that's fine as well. I don't really care. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't change my life. It doesn't make any worse. The point you need to understand is that if you don't really recognize who you used to be and you feel stressed whenever you do new things, that's a good place to be. That means you've done a lot of progress, you've done a lot of growing as an individual, and you are making moves. You are growing, you are progressing, and this is a good thing. So if you want to progress, if you want to grow, if you want to do more, this is what you need to do. You need to think for yourself, what is the one thing that makes me the most stressed right now? And I'm not talking about like anxiety and like bad kinds of stress, like workplace emotional abuse type stress. I'm talking about something that you want to do, or somebody you want to talk to, or something you want to have makes you stressed because you don't have that. Then in that case, I urge you to pursue it and to think for yourself, okay, why do I actually want that? Like, for instance, if you have a crush on somebody, go have a chat with them. Say, hey, I want to talk to you. Like, I want to be more around you. I want to spend time with you. I want us to go grab a tea or a coffee or whatever, and let's have a chat. I want to get to know you. It's not that hard. You say like, hey, I don't have any fucking experience whatsoever when it comes to talking to people. If you're a very shy, introverted person, you go up to the people you want to talk to and you say, hey, I'm very shit at talking to people, so I just thought, you know what? I want to talk to you. What's the worst thing that can happen? And then it just deletes the pressure. It just puts the pressure down here. And it just makes it super easy. And the other person says, oh yeah, cool. Like, what's up, man? Like, how are you going? And this is the same thing if you want to go on a date with a woman. You say, if you don't have any experience, this is what I did at the start. You go up to them and you say, hey, and you're just honest with everything that it doesn't matter if the outcome is bad. The point is you're taking experience, you're taking risks in order to improve. You're going outside of your comfort zone to grow. Hey, I thought you were really pretty and I would have really felt bad about myself if I didn't come and say hi. And then you just have a conversation. Women are not magical unicorns. They're human beings like you. They're flawed. They have their insecurities. They have a lot of problems like you and me. Doesn't really matter. The point being, you need to take action or understand why you're not taking action if you're not going to take action. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching these videos. I post a video every single day. I share the lessons on the path of becoming a more respectable man. So if that's something you're interested in, like, comment, subscribe, just stick around. I post around the same time every day. And with that said, it's a beautiful day, so it's time to get back to work. And I will see you in the next one. See ya.